Losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it. If you got a story, we don't care if it's happy or gory, so come share your losing it story with us.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Losing It with me, Nelsie Spencer, and with the beautiful, hydrated, and non-hatted Ronnie Whaley. Hi, Ronnie.
Hello. When you look.
Yeah, he's like, doesn't have a hat on, and I couldn't tell whether his hair was longer or shorter. But yeah, it's a whole new thing. So no hat and no beard.
Yeah. Next week, no shirt. You know, less and
no
less.
Pants. Oh, my Lord.
Be on a different type of show.
It's a whole different show. Yeah, and when you shave your beard, you look he takes about a solid 8 years off of, he's like
I know.
17. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It happens every time. And then like I age really fast and then it comes back.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's so hard to keep up. So hard to keep up. How the heck are you?
I'm good. Something weird happened. Fat. I'd say food-related injury I've been dealing with for the past week and a half. Kind of weird. Also, a fat-related injury. Yeah.
A food and fat-related injury. I'm extremely intrigued.
Yeah.
Go on.
So, so I have I microwave food, right? In a bowl.
Yes, you do. Uh-huh.
Like a ceramic bowl.
Yeah.
And I used to do this thing where I would take, because we have like 4 kitchen towels in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. And I would, since the bowl is hot, I would use a kitchen towel, right? And bring it down because it's hot, right? I'd use a kitchen towel to,
Instead of a pot holder. Just a kitchen towel.
I mean, what's a pot holder?
You're kidding, right?
No.
A pot holder is it could be an oven mitten, which comes, it's like a quilted mitten that puts on your hands. Or it's just square and quilted and you just wrap it around.
Oh, yeah. I know what that is. I just never knew what it was called. We have them. They're like corky, but then they're corks. They're like corked circles, right? So I can't just slide it.
That's
you know
a trivet. I mean? That's a trivet.
Oh, that is a name for that. Oh, it's different. Okay.
Yeah, that's a trivet. The pot holder is bendy. It's bendy.
It's I need to get one of those.
Quilted thing. Oh, okay. There we go. Losing it pot holders. That's the next merge.
I do need that. Well, because what happened. What happened is, I was using those towels and then the couple that was here, the girl, she would get upset because I would take all the towels. I mean, rightfully so. She would get upset because I would take all the towels downstairs. And so I stopped doing that. But then the thing is, it's still really hot, right?
Right. Okay. So wait a minute.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't think I've ever heard someone over the age of, I don't think I've ever heard anyone say, what's a pot holder? That, I just want to say that, underscore that if I may. And number 2, so you would take it out of the microwave, but then you would take the towel that you used to take it out with you, wherever you were eating your food.
Downstairs into my room, usually in front of my computer. Yeah.
Got it. Mm-hmm.
So, and then I wouldn't do immediately put the towel back upstairs. You know what I mean? So it became an annoying thing that I would do. So I stopped doing that.
Yes. Uh-huh. So
I had to take the bowl out with my bare hands, right? So I took the bowl out. So last week, a week and a half ago, I took a bowl out of the microwave and I tried to touch the least of it as I could. So that's it was the top rim and then the bottom rim, the rim that, so I was holding it like this. I was holding it like this, right?
Right. It's like he's holding a huge sandwich with his thumbs on top. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it didn't feel hot, right? So I walked down the stairs with it and then I started to feel it really hurt. And it hurt a lot. It hurts so much. But then I was like, oh, okay, it hurts, but I'm halfway there. So, what am I going to do? So I just like, all right, I'm just going to feel
you toughed
pain.
it out.
Yeah. And then a day later, starting getting like tingling in my fingertips. And from that day, I can't feel anything on my fingertips.
No.
Yeah. So
Ronnie. Still?
I still can't feel anything. Yeah. So I might have some like nerve damage, but
that sounds like nerve damage.
Yeah, and also like my fingertips are a little callousy, but I also can't really feel too much. I'm not too worried about it, just because I feel like my body will naturally heal itself.
Yes, I do too. I think that seems like an extreme. If you had nerve damage in all of your fingertips from this day forward, that would be a crime. That would be a crime, and all you needed was a pot holder.
I know. I would be mad at her. Be like, you see what you've done?
Well, okay, let's just deconstruct this if we may. Instead of maybe buying like 10 cheap towels at like the dollar store that all come bundled up together and have them be your designated towels in lieu of pot holders.
Trust me, I've thought of all the options after
why couldn't you just
nerves.
Why couldn't you have just brought the towel down, did your food, and then when you were done with the towel, take it back to the kitchen?
I know. I don't know. I know, right?
No, I don't know.
I just didn't.
To be fair, my son has probably half of all the glassware we have is in his bedroom. And then once a week he'll bring down glasses and cups and mugs, and sometimes there's condiments, it's like my husband goes, "Have you seen the soy sauce?" I'm like, "Have you looked in Malcolm's room?" And
I totally get that too. I totally get that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a pandemic, It's a pandemic. All bets are off.
I was doing that before then, but
I thought it was going to be worse. Or here's what I would have done. If I was walking and it got hotter and hotter, I would have stopped and put it down on the stair. I would have just stopped and put it down on the ground.
But I was like, well, what am I going to do? I thought about that, but then like, I was like,
then what? Just wait till it cools off?
Yeah, exactly. That, and also like, if I put it on the ground and then run to get a towel, I don't know, I have a weird like germ thing where I'm like, well, it's been on the ground for like 10 seconds. It's in my stuff might have fell in and I can't eat it anymore. So
I took an ice cube off the ground this morning and put it in my smoothie.
See, I could never do that.
I was catching ice cubes and one bounced off my thing and it was on the ground and I just brushed it off and put it right in the old smoothie. I do not fear germs.
I don't know. I can't do that. It's honestly it's more of the thought than anything.
Yeah.
Like I'd probably be fine. It's just the thought.
Yeah. Not only that, the other day, in terms of things dropping in your food, I was kind of, gardening is a strong verb to use, but I was like, I have these plants from last year that I'm sort of revamping and they're out on my back deck now. And I had my smoothie, which seems to be all that I ever consume. And a couple of things fell in my smoothie, like a leaf fell in and a couple of pieces of dirt. And I just scooped it out and finished the smoothie.
Well, the dirt?
Yeah.
Dirt's not so bad.
A little bit of dirt. Yeah. Dirt's not bad, right?
Dirt's more like natural, I feel.
Yeah, that's true.
Some restaurants serve dirt.
Meaning? Like
they actually serve dirt. Like it's like I watched this show called Chef's Table, and there's this one restaurant where like they have a dish where they use dirt, like soil. Like they like produce this soil that's like edible, but it's really just clean soil. Yeah.
Huh, yeah, I'll have the dirt appetizer.
Yeah, and it's like $200 for like a tablespoon of dirt.
Oh my God. I was listening to Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, and he had this. Was it Conan? No, it was Do You Need a Ride? And they had this comic on. God, he's so funny. We should have him on. And I can't remember his name, but he's from Ethiopia. Grew up here, but was born in Ethiopia. So his mom's like full on, Ethiopian. And he, for a while there, he worked at a really fancy restaurant. And he said, because if you're, a gay man, a tall gay man of color, that's what you do. You work at a fancy restaurant. His joke, not mine. And so one day he said, foodies, he said, you're waiting on these people. And this woman was like, excuse me, do you have Himalayan sea salt? And, he said, it's all I could do to not lean into her and go, when my mom was growing up, she had to eat her house cat. Right? Because she's like in Ethiopia, there's no. So he just smiles and, I'll get you that Himalayan sea salt. Oh my God. Good line, right?
Yeah.
He's such a funny. I'll figure out his name and put it in the notes because he has to be on our show as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I have another dog-related incident.
Wow.
Well, it's not an incident. Well, Callie's, did I tell you that her boyfriend's moving to Florida?
Yeah, that's right. But aren't you moving to Florida? We
are, but Florida's a big state, and he's leaving right away. Like Callie and Gunnar only have like 40 more days together, and they don't know that. Yeah, because he's.
You didn't tell her?
I have told her. She's in denial. She looks at me like, Mom, I don't. She acts like she doesn't know what I'm talking about. She's a teenager.
She's crazy.
She's annoying, and so I really am upset every time I see them playing. It's like Endless Love is playing in the background in my mind, and as they're wrestling, they're wrestling
for you.
They're wrestling, and Ronnie, you know that she's very high strung. When he goes, who's going to wrestle with her when she's gone? When he's gone, right? And she's having a sleepover with him this weekend because Doug and I are going to Florida, and my son can't watch her for one night because it's his girlfriend's birthday, and they're going to Atlantic City because she's turning 21. So Callie is having her first sleepover with Gunnar. So I have to have a talk to her about boundaries and,
Is she fixed?
She is. She's fixed.
Okay.
He is not. So, the good news is even if they do the old in-out, there won't be any puppies. We don't have to worry. We don't have to worry about getting her the, plan B or anything.
Yeah, no.
But, of course, he won't have sex.
He has to worry.
He's like, I'm not paying for child support.
Yeah, exactly.
This little vixen tricking me into something. No. Yeah, I think they're good friends. I mean, they're in love, but no hanky panky. So that's it. That's the catch up on Callie. Her boyfriend's moving. They're having a sleepover. I'm going to talk to her about boundaries.
Tinder for dogs.
There should be, right?
Yeah. Imagine all the money you can make from dogs.
Well, let me tell you, her profile would be insane. Over-aggressive female dog seeks companion who can put up with your shit.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if there was a Tinder for dogs.
There probably is, right?
Yeah, it's the world we live in.
We just need a clever name, right?
Yeah.
Bow Wow. I don't know.
Bow Wow. Pow. Yeah.
Bow. Okay. We could spend minutes coming up with bad names. I think have we done it?
We did.
Right. Okay. You have no feeling in your fingertips. You have permanent nerve damage.
Yeah.
Thanks to a microphone. And Callie's losing her love, the love of her life. So
microphone?
This week. What?
What do you mean? Thanks to a microphone?
No, to the microwave. Did I say microphone?
You said microphone. I was like,
oh, that's so sad. It's sad. It's sad to watch. It's sad. Well, it's sad to watch my brain go. It's like in real time to watch it go. Right?
I don't know if that's what's going on.
Thanks to the microphone. Because I didn't catch it. If I'd caught it, it wouldn't be so sad. It would show, okay, she's still kind of on top of it. Motherfucker. Jesus. Okay. Dino,
so who do we have? Who do you have?
We have this funny, smart, talented woman that you found because you're so good at that, Ronnie. She's a comic and she's a writer, and her name's Christina Walkinshaw, and she's from Canada, but she lives in Brooklyn now, and she has a blog, she's writing this blog, but it's kind of memoir / blog. It's very funny. And she told a great story, and pretty complex and interesting, really sort of existential losing it story. We got along like a house on fire. Ronnie couldn't be there because, I don't know, he's cheating on me with another podcast, something, I don't know. But we didn't need him, turns out. And
well, this is on Zoom, right?
So this is on Zoom. Yeah, so it's not going to be as pretty as it normally is, but I think that our beauty will shine through. Right.
It's fine.
All right, guys, check it out. Once again, Ronnie has found me an interesting guest that I would not have found on my own. And she's a comic. She has her own podcast. She's funny. She's smart. She's blonde. And her lipstick looks fabulous. So beyond that, I don't know what else I need to say, but I'm so excited to be interviewing and learn a little more about Christina Walkinshaw. Hi, Christina.
Hi, thank you for having me. And thank you for saying I'm still blonde after over a year of no haircut or highlights.
I'm seeing some blonde there. I'm seeing a little blondine. It's looking good.
I'm definitely blonde from the ears down.
Yeah, but then it looks like you're doing that thing that people do. What's it called?
I like to get highlights. So
yeah, but they do that fadey thing now. What's it called? The young people know, where it's dark here and then it fades, so you don't have real roots.
Yeah,
there are people shouting now, telling me what the thing is called.
That's the kind of podcast I'm always a part of. Is the one where the listener has all the answers and they're probably shouting at me wherever they're listening. They're like, the answer is Good Girls. You look like the girl from Good Girls with the half hair. Look.
But then they get to feel smug, and I like that when I'm listening to a podcast and I'm smarter than they are. It makes me happy.
Oh my God! Then I am the guest for your listeners.
So tell me, are you in LA?
I'm actually in Brooklyn. I moved to New York. March 1st, 2020.
Oh my Lord! So you have gotten to know your apartment in Brooklyn really well.
Yeah. So I'm a comedian with really good timing.
With really good timing. Oh my God, honey. Jeez. And so you moved from LA?
Yes.
So now I feel like most people do the opposite. Am I wrong about that?
I think people go back and forth. I think it's a very much like grass is always greener situation with these two cities. And if somebody's feeling frustrated in LA, they go to New York, and vice versa.
Well, I grew up in the suburbs of LA, and I moved to New York to go to acting school. And, I could have just driven 45 minutes north on the Harbor Freeway and tried to have a career in, I don't know, TV maybe, or movies. But no, I moved to New York to try and be a theater actor. But here's what I love. Okay. So you've been in Brooklyn. Really, basically, when you moved, the pandemic started. They're like, hey, she's moving. Let's get this pandemic going.
Exactly. I got here and then the city shut down. I don't know. Maybe I'm patient zero. We don't know.
I feel like I can't even ask you if you like Brooklyn. How would you know?
I've always dreamt of living in New York. So I think even being able to check that box off my bucket list just in time has kind of kept me going through this whole thing, because I really love living here despite everything, even though the first 8-9 months was just kind of me window shopping for my future life here. I've taken up outdoor running, which I've never done before, and I just I just get out there and I see the city on foot, and I've lost 20 pounds since I moved to New York.
Honey,
I know who leaves LA and loses weight.
No, because you walk everywhere. You walk everywhere. I lost weight when I moved to New York, and I feel exactly like you. I felt like you. I live in New Jersey now, but I was in Manhattan for 30 years. And when I arrived there, I was like, oh, I'm home. I loved it right away. I was just a happy camper. I felt like, oh, yeah. And you are every time you're walking anywhere in New York, you're window shopping.
Yeah, I love it. I love New York so much. It really has. It's saved my pandemic, because I think if I had stayed in LA, I probably would have hopped in my car and gone back to Canada and just, hit, because my family lives in Vancouver. That's where I'm from.
I didn't know. Yeah.
I know I would have probably just given up my apartment and just been like, okay, I'm going to take a year off and just live in my parents' house like a super cool 40-year-old gal would.
Nothing more cool than living with your parents when you're 40. Like the men or women or whatever you're interested will flock to you. Like, oh my God, Leah, let's go have sex in her twin bed. That's what they're thinking, right?
Exactly.
So instead you got to move to Brooklyn and you're completely cool. You're totally cool.
Yeah, no, I love it here. I even have a patio. I have a rooftop patio that overlooks lower Manhattan. So I have outdoor space. So
Christina, people would kill for outdoor space in Brooklyn.
I really lucked out. I'm telling you, because having that space during this whole thing, let's just call it a thing. I'm sick of the word pandemic.
Yeah, I know. And don't you feel like when people were first using the word pandemic, like you felt like you were in an apocalyptic movie, and it was just, I felt like it was hyperbole, and now it's become this normal thing. Like, like buying toilet paper and being in a pandemic, it's just normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
so since this thing happened, your outdoor space has saved your life.
I totally. I have a hammock. I got a little table. I can read outside. I can have a glass of wine. I used to do a little cocktail hour every day. You know how we were doing the pans, the smashing of the pans for the essential workers. So it was 7:00, and I would go up there. I would usually be done. I was really lucky. I got a writing job in the beginning of the pandemic that literally started the day lockdown started, and I would not have gotten that job had I not moved to New York. So I kind of followed my dream of living in the city I wanted to live in, and then I magically got a job once I got here. So that's some positive manifesting stuff.
Oh, honey, you are manifesting left and right.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah, and then I go upstairs, and I just kind of met my neighbor, because he would go outside and smash some pans, all social distance, because there's a giant brick. We'd have to jump onto the other building if we wanted to hang out, but it was just enough contact with people outside from afar that it was, I
feel like that's the beginning of a rom-com. Am I wrong?
Yeah, except that
right?
I probably shouldn't fuck your neighbors in New York. I'm new here, but I feel like anybody you're going to see a lot of.
Yeah, you shouldn't don't fuck your neighbors. Yeah, that's a t-shirt. Okay. So tell me about this writing job.
It was just for an app version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire that would come on after Jimmy Kimmel's show.
Yeah.
People could play at home and people could win at home. It was a lot like HQ. And I worked on another show called Confetti for Facebook Watch, which was the same thing. And oh my God, my showrunner, my boss was my favorite person in the world. Oh, Cindy, I love you so much. And it saved my life, that job. So
oh my God, but getting gigs in New York writing.
Yeah, and during a pandemic.
With
3 months, a 3-month gig, but I don't even know where I would be right now without that job.
So do you not have roommates?
No, I live by myself. It's like a studio loft.
But still, I mean, so many people in their 40s and more, when you're living in Manhattan, especially if you just moved, me and my 4 roommates, and yeah, welcome to my bedroom. I mean, closet, So the fact that that's you're kind of living the life, Christina.
Yeah, I know. I'm really lucky. I mean, I do live in a neighborhood that I feel 10 years too old for. You know what I mean? When I go out, it's really easy to impress 26-year-old men, though. Do you know what I mean? They're always like, wow, you live alone? So I'm like, yeah.
Well, yeah, and you have a job? And you have a podcast and you do stand-up? My God, I bet, yeah. Oh, wow. Shame about the whole social distancing and can't fuck your neighbors thing. Just, I feel like you'd be killing it.
Don't worry, the name of my podcast is Jill and Off, so everybody probably knows how my love life survives, or how my sex life survives.
So tell me a little bit about your podcast.
So yeah, it's called Jill and Off, and it's with Jen Murphy. And I think,
is it only about masturbation?
No, we just talk about whatever. Sometimes Jill and Off just means we're just gabbing, we're just joking around.
Yeah, just having fun, entertaining yourselves.
We're entertaining ourselves, yes. And we're both in our 40s and just like talking about our lives. And that's been one of the positive things of lockdown, is all of a sudden, like we stopped doing our podcast when I left LA, because we're like, I don't live there anymore. Yeah. Now we're living in this Zoom world, and we're like, well, I guess we could start podcasting again. And now I feel like the podcast is even better than it was before, because we're so like, we get to see each other once a week. Do you know what I mean? Right.
Like, it's so exciting. It's
and just more stories, because we're separated and we don't see each other all the time.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. My best friend and I have spoken endlessly about doing a podcast that we would call it Ladies Who Launch instead of Ladies Who Lunch, because we constantly get on the phone and just talk. And she's like, oh my God, I just launched. Is that okay? And of course, we think we're fascinating and that everything we say should be recorded and people should listen to it. But I'm immediately listening to your podcast. I love it.
Yeah, it's we just started a Patreon because we're,
And is it Jillinoff? Is that the Jillinoff? I'm guessing. Yes.
That's it.
Okay. Yeah. And we can follow you on all the social media.
Oh, I'm on everything. Walkinshaws. Oh yeah. I'm still on Tumblr. Like, I might still have an ICQ account.
But I did notice that you do not have an AOL email. So I feel like, you're maybe have entered the new millennium.
You're actually wrong about that. I fully still have my AOL account, Walkinshaws@AOL.com. And that is like, I think that's the email link that's on my podcast if you want to book my
Oh my God. I have a Yahoo and a Hotmail. I mean, I had somebody on my podcast who's like, he's solidly in his 40s, maybe even older. And when I told him Nelsie writes at hotmail.com, he's like, oh, you still have a Hotmail account? I wanted to go. What a dick. And he's not a dick. He's a great guy. But I was like, that's kind of mean. I mean,
people like to mock. People like to mock the older email addresses. But I think you're fine as long as you don't have a .net. The .net. That's
.net. There's something sad about a .net. Am I right?
Yeah, the .net is like sad. That's like you're not even trying to be on the internet. Like, you don't even like.
No, it's like fake internet. It's fake internet.
Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. Oh goodness. Oh, I'm so glad that we did this, even though we had some technical problems, guys. You'll notice. Well, I don't know if you'll notice, but Ronnie's not with us today because his internet went out, and he's up in New Hampshire and like in the woods, kind of. So it's like when his internet goes out, it's a thing.
Yeah.
So, but I'm so glad we did this. You're heaven. I love you. You're great.
You're heaven. This is so fun. That was
so much fun. Much fun.
I'm the only other thing I would like to plug is I started a new blog called
Tell me.
It's taking a long time to become famous, and it's just basically I'm trying to draft a memoir of my 23 years in stand-up. So I'm releasing a chapter a week, and I'm doing it on my website, ChristinaWalkinshaw.com. And I'm also on Substack. So ChristinaWalkinshaw.substack.com. And I got a lot of stories to tell. I got a lot of ups and downs.
Wow.
It's going to
be love it.
Quite the
and of course, that could be the name of my blog as well. You're taking me a long time to get famous because I'm a couple of decades older than you are. And I'm still working on it. Yeah.
I love it. We still have time. We're still alive. We got this.
We got this. We're alive. And, are we having a good time? Yes, we are.
100% having a hoot. I'm having a hoot.
I'm jilling off, babe.
Jilling off. I'm alive. I beat the odds. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So, first of all, I do want to ask you, and I know that I'm the 500,000th person to ask you, walk me through, pun intended, Walkinshaw. That's an unusual name.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's funny because whenever anybody can't like, I think it does scare people, especially as a comedian, when there's a host, you know, that might not know you. And they're like, what's your last name? And you just see the panic in their eye. But I'm like, phonetically, it is exactly how it looks. Like, it's walk, like the action, in like the preposition, Shaw, like Shawshank Redemption, walk in Shaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I experienced the same thing as with the name Nelsie. Like, people are like, how do you spell your name? It's phonetic. Rhymes with Elsie. Nelsie. It's not hard.
I love that name. Can I just tell you? I think Nelsie's the cutest name ever.
Thank you. I like it very much too. Thank God, right? Because it's a little odd. And if I didn't like it, you know, but yeah, thank you. I like it.
And then,
my mom made it up. No, my mom's name was Nell. Her nickname was Nelsie. My name is actually Nell, but I inherited her nickname. So I've been Nelsie from, you know, the get-go.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay. So Walkinshaw is, you're Canadian. I feel like there might be Indigenous people in there. I don't know, because there's a verb. Am I wrong?
I mean, I feel, I would like to say I am. I think that, well, I know my grandfather with the last name is Scottish. So Scottish. But yeah, I don't know. You never know. So, I've never done like one of those
23andMe. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought about doing it for my family last year, because like for Christmas, I thought it'd be interesting. Cause even on my grandma's side, so she's Ukrainian, but then one of our family members found her dad's birth certificate. So we thought we were Ukrainian this whole time. Then the birth certificate actually said Poland. So it's like, we're so Polish. We don't even know we're Polish.
That's so good. And you're allowed to say that joke because you're Polish.
I'm Polish, yeah.
Polish but no Ukrainian? Or you think maybe Ukrainian too?
Grandma's for surely born in Ukrainian, but in Ukraine.
In Ukrainian.
I know. Wow. Did you intro me as smart? You might want to edit that
out. So Polish and Scottish?
Polish, Scottish, Ukrainian. Yeah, I think that's the whole combo.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, I've just never. And have you ever met any other Walkinshaws?
No, but you know, as Facebook is expanded, there's a group of Walkinshaws in Ontario. My family's all in BC, and some in Alberta. But then some Walkinshaws reached out to me in Ontario, so I know that there's more of them. And they invited me to like a family reunion, but I could never go. I always wanted to.
That's fun. That is really fun. Okay, so born in Canada, which I did not know. And interestingly, I was just listening to, there's a new Scrubs podcast where they're, JD and Turk are, basically walking you through all the episodes. It's pretty interesting. Yeah. And they just had Sarah Chalk on, who's Canadian, which I figure every Canadian knows every other famous Canadian. Am I right?
Yeah, I feel like we do.
Yeah, as well you should, right? And you guys got a lot of them.
Yeah.
You have a lot of them.
Is this a good time to say I've also watched all of Firefly Lane?
I haven't watched it. Should I absolutely be watching it?
I don't know if I'm supposed to be proud that I'm watching that show or if I'm like really tapping into being my own age.
Well, yeah, I know nothing about it. So clue me in.
Well, it's funny because my initial reaction was, I don't know why they always do this, but they always shoot things in Canada, but they refuse to acknowledge that it's Canada. They just be like, no. I mean, we're going to shoot it in Vancouver, but Vancouver is Seattle. That makes me mad. I'm like, why can't Vancouver just be Vancouver? Are the American viewers going to lose their minds that something's in Canada? Yeah. That's not in our country. Oh, I'm out of here.
That was good.
But I love, honestly, the one thing I've been liking in all these podcasts is my swivel chair.
You just did a Stefan there, right?
Oh my gosh. I love Stefan. I have a magnet with Stefan on my fridge.
Oh, how can you not love Stefan? Okay. So, all right. Now we're just chatting, and I should really act like this is an interview. So I'm going to try to do that. So you've been doing stand-up for 23 years.
Yeah, I started a week before my 19th birthday.
Wow. And you were still in Canada, yes?
I was in Ottawa.
And what's the stand-up scene like in Ottawa?
We started with a really great, strong, mighty crew and supportive. Like, and it was just yucks really back then. There were no open mics. And as a new comic, you got like 2 Wednesdays a month at like New Talent Night, right?
And how many minutes for each?
The spots were 5 minutes each.
Okay.
Actually, I wrote about my first time doing stand-up maybe like a month ago. I actually only did 3 minutes.
Because you panicked? That was
all the jokes that I wanted to do.
Oh, yeah.
Like, better. And then, and then it was done. And I was like, I didn't see the red light. And then that kind of freaked me out. I was like, where's the red light? And then I was like, what if I missed it? I don't know. I still have that moment sometimes where what if I missed the light?
I have missed the light. I missed the light not long. Like, I don't do stand-up anymore. I went back to doing it again in my early 60s, which is such a smart career move. And
love it. Yes, it is.
And I was doing stand-up New York oh God, I can't remember the name of the booker. Really nice guy. I think he does a thing at Dangerfields now. Anyway, I didn't see the red light. I went, I was supposed to do 7 minutes. I think I did 11. I carried shame, and I kept thinking, where's the light? Because I was done.
Yeah.
I was done. And I'm sweating, and then I leave, and it was like, that was 11 minutes. I'm like, fuck.
No, did you get in trouble?
No, because he was a really nice guy.
That's good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he's been there, right? Oh, you know? Yeah. Okay. So you're in Canada, you're getting 2 Wednesdays a week, 2 Wednesdays a month, and 5 minutes. Loving it. Are you like, oh, this is, are you one of these people who got up there and like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing?
I feel like I knew that feeling on the second time I ever did stand up. Because the first time I brought so many of my friends came. So it was like, oh, those are all my friends in the crowd and they're going to laugh, right? Like regardless if I'm good or
yeah. Yeah.
And, but the second time I performed and it was sold out and I had it, I hate saying I killed. I don't know why. It's just that's not really in my language, but, they did, let's just say it was so good. It was such an amazing set and all in front of strangers. And that was the moment where I was like, oh, I can do this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And so how long until you said, I got to get out of this small town and headed to LA, or was there a stop along the way?
It's funny because I think I'm about a week and a half away from writing about this. The first time I moved to LA, I didn't move because I was like, I'm a star. I'm so ready for Hollywood. I was only 3 years into doing stand-up. I maybe only had 15 minutes of good material.
Uh-huh.
And I moved the first time I moved to LA. Well, sorry, I just punched the mic.
We'll edit that out. Don't worry.
I told you I've been alone too long. To fondle my microphone now.
Just chilling off with the mic.
Chilling off.
I'm not the first person to make a phallic joke out of a mic.
You have to. I know. I hope this isn't supposed to be a clean podcast because I think I ruined that 15 minutes ago.
Yeah. Now you can say whatever you want.
Glory of podcasts. But yeah, so the first time, don't worry, I wasn't ridiculous and young and dumb. I wasn't like, I'm moving to Hollywood to become a star. I moved to California for a guy I met in a nightclub in Las Vegas who convinced me I was his soulmate.
Okay. Well, you know what's good? You're soon to come to that part in the memoir, and it's a really good story. Am I right?
It's going to be a ridiculous story. Yeah, it is. Wow. It's a crazy one. And then, of course, that guy lasted 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay.
And that's when the starstruck Christina kind of comes out of her shell and goes, well, maybe that guy was just like a stepping stone. Maybe I am meant to be here. And you know what I mean? Maybe I didn't think of myself enough to move to LA.
Right. It took some douchey guy to get me to move here.
But yeah. I'm fucking move for a guy though. I'm 23 and that's what we do.
That's what we do. It's true. Yeah. Because we think that every guy we meet when we're in our 20s is our last chance for happiness. I mean, It's so sad, but true. Yeah.
So sad. And yeah. So anyways, it was a struggle for a bit, right? I was, I ended up, it was actually pretty funny because the week before I left, I was working with Lisa Gay Tremblay, who's this great headliner. She's from Ottawa. That she lives in LA now. And I was working with her and I told her, I'm like, oh my God, I'm moving to LA. I'm like, I met this guy. And she was just like, oh no. And then this is a terrible idea. And so on her last night, like on the Sunday show, she has a little present for me. Oh, because she told me, I think when I first told her, she goes, listen, when this relationship doesn't work out, here's my phone number. Call me. I'll come and when you're broke and you have no money and no job, I'll come, I'll pick you up and I'll give you a box of tampons. Right? Like, you're not even going to have enough money for tampons. It's just like, anyways. So I'm not even doing the story justice, but I still have to write it and then I'll make sure I say the tampon thing in the right order. Okay.
I don't know. I think you're doing it
very concerned about me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So cut to 2 weeks later, I desperately want out of this guy's house. I'm in Huntington Beach, California. She's in the Valley.
Oh.
I call her. Don't worry, classy Valley. I call her.
I wasn't judging. I was not judging. I swear to you.
Makes porn Valley. So I call her and I was like, hey, I'm sure getting a phone call from me at a point where I don't even think I had a cell phone in the States yet. So I'm like calling from a landline or something. I was like, hey, remember when you said you would come pick me up?
Oh my God.
I didn't show up. And I kid you not, Lisa Gay Tremblay got in her car at 3:00 on a Friday.
Oh my
May long weekend, Memorial Day weekend.
What?
It must have taken her like 4 hours.
She should be sainted. She should be sainted.
Absolutely. And she picked me up and then she brought me another box of tampons.
I love her. That's a great story. I cannot wait to start reading your blog and then read your memoir when it's a bestseller. Oh my God. That is such a good story. And heartbreaking and funny and all the things that I love, you know. So normally I time this because I usually have my phone, but my phone is now recording, and I just want to be smart and mindful of the time because I do feel like you and I could chat for a long time. But I do also know, so you know, you got 23 years of stand-up stories you could tell me, and my computer's falling over. But I do know that you have a losing it story for me. Is that correct?
Of course I do.
So I think it's time for the losing it story.
Okay, I think that this is going to be the most depressing part of the whole show.
We can take depressing.
Are you ready for depressing?
I'm ready for depressing.
Okay. Again, I'm a positive person, so I'll try to make it positive in the end. But this is my official.
We run the gamut of emotions on this show. Okay. Believe me, I've cried several times on this podcast. So not
really?
to worry. Oh yeah.
I've definitely cried on, I think, 2 podcasts now. Yeah, 2.
No, yeah, I'm a big weeper. I believe in it.
Hopefully I don't weep, but I don't know where I am in my menstrual cycle, so it's always possible.
See, I don't menstruate anymore, so I can't. When
I'm in my 40s, I don't know when it's coming. It's just like,
you know, I didn't get mine till mid 50s, so you could have a long way to go. Yeah. So anyway, so let's just have a sidebar about menstruation, shall we? No. Okay. So sad story. Go for it. I got my tissues.
Okay, my official losing it story. It's just going to make me look like a loser. So we're going to say on.
That's okay. It's about vulnerability. No worries.
Okay, great. So it's 2014. Okay. And again, this will get written about in the blog for sure. Real heartbreaker, a doozy, right? So I had just joined Tinder, which I know Tinder is like a bit of a joke now. But back then, I was still discovering online dating. I had never done it before. And so I get the app. I'm like, oh, this is so fun. It's like Hot or Not meets Grindr for straight people. Like, this is so fun. I went on lots of dates and I was like, I should be writing about this. Like, this is really interesting. So I start this little blog and I just call it My Week on Tinder. And I just do it on Tumblr and it starts to build. And more people start to read it, which was cool. Like, you know, it was exciting. I was like, oh my God, this is before, you know, everybody got drowned out in algorithms. So you could just post something.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So the blog starts to build, right? And so then, you know, I get a manager and MTV calls, and MTV's like, oh, we want to do we're thinking about like creating a new show about bloggers. And so I'm like, sure, yeah, I'll come in and like, I'll whatever you want, talk to you or interview for, I don't know what I was doing, but they're like, yeah, we want to bring you in because we're interested in, in a show on bloggers. And then I go and they go, we changed our mind. We just want to do a show with you.
Wow. So you go in, because I did not think that was going to be the second half of the sentence, right? We changed our mind. Right. Bye-bye, right? No, we changed our mind. We want to do a show about you.
Yeah. So this MTV Canada, right?
Yeah.
And it was exciting because also I was like 34, I think, or 35. Like this was a kind of a groundbreaking thing for a girl my age to get her own show on MTV. Like I was excited, but I was also super fucking nervous.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we start working on it. I go for like a screen test and everything is like a go. I'm like, holy fuck. I wouldn't even post about it yet. I couldn't even tell my parents. I almost didn't believe it. It takes like them a few months to drop the contract. And then in those few months, I think I started, like the blog just got bigger. I got like the front cover of Now magazine, and now I'm getting different offers. And truth be told, right? Because this whole show would be based on my life. Like it would be starting over my life, right? You're going to go on all my dates with me. And, I'm going to be a reality star, essentially. Yeah. And truth be told, it was never my dream. Like my original dream was to be a writer for The Young and the Restless. Like I love, true story. Original dream.
Aim right at the middle, Christina, right at the middle.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, all I want to do is just screw Victor Newman over like 7 times. Jack Abbott for the win. Anyways, so that was always my original dream. And then the more this started to build and different offers were coming, like the more I started to get nervous about like being a reality star. I was like, once I do this, I can't go back. And the contract took like a few months to drop. And then there it was in my hand, like 27 pages. And, I don't know. I got really nervous, and I just like a robot, like every day, I just like kept on going to work at my restaurant job, and I kept on going, and I kept on not signing that contract. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if I want to do this. And then sure enough, like 6 weeks after I got that contract that literally sat beside my bed where I could have had my own show on MTV, finally 6 weeks later, they called my manager. They're like, well, we're pulling the contract. It seems like the deal's off. And I was like, there was this weird part of me that was like, phew, like I was so relieved, but then cut to me waiting tables for another 1.5 years of my life.
Yeah.
Which was super depressing. I was like, I'd still signed another deal, but like that would have gone into production like right away. And I think I just didn't even understand a lot of stuff back then. Like, but even though maybe the money wasn't that great, that would build my profile, and then I'd be able to make more money other places. And I didn't think I don't know. I didn't understand how to negotiate. There was a lot of stuff I just didn't understand, but I lost a contract for my own TV show, and now I'm burping on OnlyFans. So is that the most tragic?
It's like my heart hurts. I will admit that my heart has contracted a little bit, and I get it. I get it. What I find, where was your manager? Why wasn't your manager going, Christina, why aren't you signed?
Playing, well, we would do like a good cop, bad cop thing. So like, I'll play the good guy, she'll play the bad guy. But just truth be told, I just wasn't 100% sure that I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So we just kept stalling, and she just kept stalling. Well, I decided.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to making a big decision like that, I am scared I'm gonna do the wrong thing. And I hate, like, I read a lot of this all this self-help crap now. Like, look at this, you were a badass. I got it all now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it was a very fear-based decision, which I know is like,
you know what it is? It's not awful. It's human. It's human. We all, look, I'm going to put this in quotes. We all fuck up our lives.
Yeah.
looking back, we're like, oh, I should have, would have, could have, but we don't know. I mean, there's absolutely a school of thought. It's like, no, you made the exact right decision because that wasn't the path for you. Whatever reason, that wasn't the path for you. Could people argue that you should have? Yes, there are other people that could argue that because then you wouldn't be right here, right now, which is where you're supposed to be. Look, I mean, I've got 15 of those that I could, like I've been close to making it so many times, whatever that looks like. And, and what was it? Fear of success? Was it fear of being too big? Was it, I don't fucking know, but can I just love myself through it and go, well, that's what it looked like at that time. That was the best I could do at that time.
Yeah. Well, that's what I talk about. I don't know if you've read Elizabeth Gilbert's Big Magic.
Everybody is quoting it constantly now, it feels like to me, but yeah, go ahead.
That book really helped me get through all this because I always think that was my peak. Like I peaked that year. I got like every comedy festival. I did like Winnipeg, Glasgow, Montreal. I had this like, it was, I'm always like, oh my God, that was it. I peaked in 2014 and now welcome to my downward spiral. But
okay. Yeah. And so
Liz Gilbert, if I can call you Liz.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Gilbert says, what you think was your peak was actually just your rehearsal.
Oh, I want to needlepoint that one. I like that.
So, and that's the thing right now. I feel like what I don't have is a reality show, but what I do have is this huge story of 20 minutes doing stand up where it could go, I think that if I could do a book, maybe eventually I will hit the dream where I get to write, which is what I really want to do.
Yeah.
And, I was also worried about, I don't know, like the show and not having control. Because I knew that the people that I was going on dates with, I was going on some pretty like groundbreaking dates, like really emotional stuff. And suddenly like that's all going to be on TV and up for, look, I mean, I think I probably would have, it's so easy to idealize something like that, right? It's like, excuse me, my son went to, he played Division I soccer. Yeah.
And in order to play Division I, whatever, you start dreaming about that and thinking about that probably when you're a freshman in high school, maybe even before. And so then when you get into your D1 school, you're like, that's it. I've arrived. Right. And so I know a lot of kids who ended up playing D1 soccer and very few of them had a great experience at it. Right. Because you think, oh, this is the dream. Well, your coach could suck. Your team could suck. You could hate the school. You could end up getting injured. You could end, right? So reality show, I mean, as if there's not a fucking 100,000 horror stories about reality shows, right? You might have just dodged a big fucking bullet.
I mean, I always want to believe that. It's sometimes.
No, let's stick with that. You know what? We're sticking with that.
I like that. Because also I feel like, especially as a girl that, I care about people. I feel like the people that I was going on dates with at that time probably would not have wanted to be on a TV show, and vice versa. I think the people that want to be on a reality show, I wouldn't want to date.
Good point. So you just did the right thing. You followed your moral compass and you followed your heart and you did the right thing. That's what I think.
I mean, I have to believe that at this point.
Yeah, and look at you. You, first of all, you're adorable. Second of all, you're so funny. Thirdly, you still have Christmas garlands up in April. So that just says everything as far as I'm concerned. You have an outdoor space in Brooklyn. Come on.
I'll take down the Christmas decorations when they burn out.
But you know what feels like full circle and feels very Elizabeth Gilbert to me, or Lizzie as we like to call her, is that you got this attention way back when, and it's not that long ago, but 6 years ago, and you got that attention because of your writing, right? And the two gigs that you got in New York were both writing gigs. It allowed you to sort of sail through this pandemic and enjoy your outdoor space with a glass of wine and not go, holy shit, what am I doing? And now you're telling your story. So you're using that skill, that gift that you have. So you're exactly where I just got chills. You're exactly where you're supposed to. You're exactly where you're supposed to be.
I think so too. Like I feel grateful to be here, and my new blog is like my new passion project, and I like these are the kind of jobs I want in life, right? Like it's great when you get to write for other people. But what I learned from that Tinder blog was that was something I created. Like that was my little seed I planted, and it blossomed into a whole development deal. So I have that, I know that can happen. Like
yeah.
And that's what I'm trying, like, that's what I want to do with this new blog. And I think the writing is better. I think the story.
Of course it is. You have 6 years of writing. You have 6 years of life. You have 6 years of, I mean, look, writing is stand-up, finding that rhythm, finding what's the perfect verb, what's the perfect way to do this. That's all writing. 2 years ago, year and a half ago, 2 years ago, first of all, I became a writer because I wrote, there's no quotes around writer. I'm actually a writer. I became a writer because I wrote a 2-character play for me, and my best friend and I wrote a 2-character play for ourselves because I was an actor. We were both actors waiting tables. And so I've created my own stuff all along. And last year, 2 years ago, I decided, I was like, oh, right, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. That's when I wrote my one-woman show about my dad's funeral. And that's what's happening to you. You know now that this is the thing that you're supposed to be doing, and you're excited about it.
I really am.
Yeah. Tell me the name of the blog again. Where can people read it?
I have it on two places right now. I joined Substack because Substack is like, once I can get my mailing list up, it's like a nice way where every time I post a blog, it just goes straight into your email. So if you go to ChristinaWalkinshaw.substack.com, that's an easy way. You can just subscribe to it. It's totally free. I may start a podcast of like me just doing audio of all my chapters, because I know that if I've learned one thing from blogging in 2021, is a lot of people don't read. People want a TikTok. So if you could dance your life away for us.
I'm chapter 1. So you're going to read while you like do, some stupid fucking dance, the Fortnite, whatever that is, which,
I got to keep with the times, right?
Yeah. You're going to twerk. Chapter 2, I'm twerking while I read.
Oh my God.
But it is true. It is true. We all want to have content. We want to be able to listen to something while we fill in the blank, walk our dogs, chilling off, whatever.
Exactly. I guess I got to do that. But also, so Substack's a little bit behind. All the blogs are up to date on my website, which is ChristinaWalkinshaw.com. I'm 10 chapters in this week, and I don't know when this podcast comes out. When does this come out?
Probably not for like 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh, yeah. So then it'll definitely be out. So tomorrow's blog, it's not even a spoiler alert because it's going to air afterwards. I'm going to write about just what it felt like to have to do stand-up around 9/11. Because I started in like the late 90s. So, and I'll talk about my opinions on that in the blog. But it was obviously a very emotional time. And I was still only a couple years into doing stand-up. And I just didn't really know what comedians did,
I mean, it was uncharted territory, for every comic, whether you'd been doing it for 10 minutes or 10 years.
Yeah.
Because we'd never had planes fly into buildings before. I mean, It was like so crazy.
Literally the hardest time, I think, ever to try to be a funny person.
So ChristinaWalkinshaw.com, Christina Walkinshaw at Substack.
I think, you know what? You know how bad I am with all this stuff. I think it's ChristinaWalkinshaw.substack.com.
Thank you. All of this, guys, will be on our Instagram feed. It'll be on YouTube. It'll be down below in the description.
Yeah.
And yeah.
We'll just hit some. Yeah, we'll put some links in comments. That always works. And but yeah, this story is going to be a good ride. It's been a crazy. It's been 23 years. That's what it's been.
23 years. Oh my God. I can't wait. I relate in a lot of ways. Just that idea of like, what is it? It's taking me a long time to get famous. Such a good title.
It's also the name of my comedy album, actually. I'm just taking that title and using it everywhere.
And why wouldn't you? It's brilliant. And what was the last thing I wanted to say? Oh, after talking about your story, your losing it story, which, by the way, is a good story, and it's so specific, and it's really losing, right? Losing the contract, losing the opportunity. After we really talked about it, and you talked about your reasons why, you made the right decision.
Yeah, I have to believe that at this point.
I really want you, like I keep saying it to you because I want you to believe it. I don't want you to say I have to believe it. You made the right decision. It was a moral decision. It didn't feel right to you.
Something felt off. And when I do, get my positive shoes on, that sounds really corny. I don't know why I said that, but I can't
get your positive shoes on, Christina.
Positive shoes on, Christina. This will be a bit of a spoiler alert. If you've never seen the movie Sliding Doors, have you ever seen Sliding Doors?
Yeah, yeah.
I love that movie. And you know what? It's a spoiler alert. But if you didn't see this 1998 classic by now, you have to take the spoiler. It's like the two fates, one when she gets on the train and one when she misses the train. So kind of like the two Gwyneth Paltrow's in that movie. I have to believe that if I had gotten on the train or if I had taken that contract, I'd be dead. And this is the best life because I'm alive.
You know what? You're an alive Gwyneth Paltrow, man, but you're not
alive Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, but you're not trying to get people to buy overpriced facial products. So you're even better than Gwyneth.
Oh my God.
I would venture to say that.
I don't. I'm so basic in the makeup department.
Me too.
The same color lipstick for like 28 years, I think.
I used to mock my mother because I used to say, my mom wore that same frosted pink Revlon that she decided on in 1969. And I realized that I am wearing the exact same Clinique color that I chose in probably 1979. So like
Clinique, I love it.
Clinique. Yeah. Yeah. And, look, it works with the shirts. So what the fuck, that's it. Well, this was so much fun.
Oh, it was so nice. And I almost cried, but I feel like my tears were welling up in the eyes a little bit. But guess what? I fucking held them in because you're right. I made the right decision.
You made the right decision. And normally I ask people what they learned from that. And I feel like the question to ask now is, what did you learn? Like looking back now and feeling maybe for so long that you'd made the wrong decision or you lost something. What would you say to someone who was having a similar experience, like feeling like they missed out on something, like they should have done that? What would you say to them?
It's tough because I would want to actually say, I now I feel like I'm more of a power of yes person.
Mm-hmm.
Say yes, say yes.
Yeah.
Say yes and keep going. Just yes, yes, yes. Because so many things go or could get offered to you after your yeses, right? I feel but now I feel like I am more of a yes person, but sometimes you need a giant no to realize you're a yes person.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I would say go for it a little harder than what I did, but also I like the whole keep going. Keep going. Just keep going.
Keep going. Do you know who Bob Proctor is? He's a real law of attraction guy.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say. Oh, of course. I was like, I knew that name sounded familiar. I fully follow Law of Attraction on Instagram. I love my vibe of the day. I love it.
God, I did a 24-minute Joe Dispenza meditation this morning, all about picturing your future. Yes. Yeah.
I know. Joe. I follow.
Oh yes. Okay. It's so weird how many people that end up on this podcast are into law of attraction, and it's not like that's one of the questions I ask people. Do you know who Joe Dispenza is? But Bob Proctor says, if you feel like you've made a mistake or you've failed or whatever, you don't look back. You go next. What's next? Fantastic. All right. So I think Ronnie told you that we end with 3 questions.
I think so.
Okay. Well, you'll know the answer. You'll figure out the answers. If you don't, I'm going to give them to you one at a time.
And if I don't have the answer, I just wheel myself out.
What does... Wait, guys. Oh, she's gone.
Gotta get my face back up. Okay,
there we go. So, first question. What is something you hope to lose in the next year?
Debt.
Oh, that's good. I like it. Very specific, very clear. Okay.
I've got not that it's that bad, but it's enough because of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, that I just want to, that's it.
Okay. Good. I like it.
Yeah.
Ding. Here's my magic wand, and so it shall be. Something you hope to gain in the next year.
Well, I want that book deal.
Okay.
Can I ask for something that specific?
Absolutely. A big fat book deal.
I want a big fat book deal. That's what I expect to gain. Yes.
Perfect. I love it. And what's something you hope you never lose?
I want to be like family, friends, health, classics, right?
Classics.
All
Classics. That. Yeah. Family, friends, health. All right. Well, you killed it. Oh, we don't use that expression. You, you murdered it. You slayed it.
We had a real hoot.
Oh, it was such a hoot. Oh, that Christina. She's from Canada. She's amazing. Well, this was great. This was so much fun. I loved it. I'm excited about your memoir and your blog. People can follow you on Instagram, of course, at Christina Walkinshaw.
I'm at Walkinshaws. So
that's right, Walkinshaws. I knew that because I follow you now. At Walkinshaws. Okay, fantastic. And in the meantime, check out her blog. New chapters come out weekly. 23 years of fun and craziness and insanity, and probably maybe a tear or two.
I know. You'll laugh and you will cry.
You'll laugh.
I'm tired of making people laugh. It's time to make people cry.
Yeah, if you can make me laugh and make me cry, I'm yours. Like, yeah,
good to get them out, man.
Yeah,
get the tears out.
Good. Oh. Well, this was fantastic, and the nice thing about still having your Christmas garlands up is you don't have to put them up next year.
Exactly.
You just keep them up.
Exactly. I still have everybody's Christmas cards up too, so they don't even have to mail me another one.
So keep doing what you're doing and stay safe. And this was really fun. I'm really glad that Ronnie found you and brought you to us.
It was so fun. Thank you for having me. It was really nice.
Okay. And listen to Jill and Off, guys.
Yeah.
Where all fine podcasts are played, I guess. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
No problem. Bye.
Bye. Okay, all right. So Christina was fun. She was fun. She's smart. She's funny. Check out her blog. I love it's taking a long time to get famous is the name of her.
That's great.
Isn't that the best title ever? I was so upset that I hadn't thought of it first, because guess what? It's taken me even longer to get famous, Christina, like by decades. But such a good title, and she's so funny. Just check, Ronnie. You've got to stop with the something. Sorry. Okay, I'm just.
I haven't heard that before. I'll switch.
Okay. Oh God. Okay. So we didn't get a fan letter that we thought was sort of up to snuff regarding that sort of fits in the Steve Brown for what Steve talked about last week, which was sort of things not working out how you thought and taking a different path, right? Isn't that what we decided, Ronnie?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Because, how do you talk about that? We didn't get a letter that got us excited, but then we both talked about it and realized that we've both had that experience, right?
Yeah.
We've both had that experience of like thinking we want to do this thing and it maybe not working out how we wanted to, and then taking a different path. And so, I said to Ronnie, Jesus, I've done that like 8 times in my life, literally. Right.
Yeah.
And I guess, I have the hindsight to look back and go, I was going to say, it doesn't do any good. I was going to say, and not have regret. And I think I probably do have a little bit of regret, but it doesn't do any good to have regret because you can't go back in time. So, I was going to be a dancer. I went to school as a dance major. And then in my first year, I switched to being a theater major. And then I moved to New York to study acting. And then I wrote a 2-character play with my best friend. So I went from dancer to actor to writer to stand-up comic to novelist to radio talk show host to screenwriter to writing teacher to podcaster. So, and it's kind of, if I had stuck with dance, I think this is the interesting thing to think about, right? Because if Steve Brown had gotten to be an All-American and went to the Olympics, would he have ended up in LA when he ended up and become a stuntman? Right?
Yeah, and be on all those Hollywood hits.
He's fucking hung out with Denzel and been in the James Cameron Avatar 2. Like, if he had kept all of his focus on the wrestling, right, that wouldn't have happened for him.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I think back, I mean, making the switch from being a dancer to being an actor was kind of a natural thing. But yeah, and you know what? I don't think I do. I don't think I regret any of it, because I've had I don't want to say I've had an interesting life, like I'm on my deathbed, because hopefully I have a couple more decades in me.
It was a great life.
It was great. It was a great life. But all these changes that I've made, they've been really fucking interesting, you know, and really fun.
Yeah.
And I have great stories to tell as a result, you know? Yeah. So that's me, and who knows who I'll be tomorrow. You know, maybe tomorrow I'll take up, you know, macrameing, and just that'll be my passion.
Just drop everything.
And we know how lucrative that can be, right? So
exactly.
My next million. So like, you had a similar thing, right, Ronnie? Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, like, from very young age, I was really into, like, you know, making stuff. You know, I was like, you know, English was always my favorite, and art was always my favorite subject in school. And then I was really into SNL as a child. So I was like, oh, that's what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to be a comedy writer. I'm going to write skits and just work at SNL. That's what I'm going to do. And then, you know, then I picked up video editing. Then I was like, oh, I'll be a movie director, because that's what you do once you start making videos. And then like later on, you know, when I was trying to go to college, I realized that I have to pick a real thing, right? So I took film to study to be a video editor. And then I dropped out of college because, you know, I think we talked about this before, where like I just kind of like, I already knew what I needed how to edit videos, and I didn't really want to be a movie director. Like, that's not something that really interested me at all. And then I kind of just like,
Ronnie would, I think we talked about this on the podcast, is like Ronnie would be in a video editing class, and there would be a question, and the teacher would look at Ronnie and like, Ronnie, can you field this for me? Am I right? I mean, wasn't it kind of like that you knew more than the professor?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because like I taught myself how to edit when I was in the 3rd grade, and then a lot of the kids around me in the class, like most of them had never even touched like Adobe. So, you know, a lot of the stuff that we were learning were like intro stuff. And I mean, like, so I'm already on the 4th year of college in my skill level. So I was like, well,
why am I here?
If I'm going to be here for 4 years, I don't understand. So, so like, you know, I dropped out of college and then kind of just did what I want. Like, I kind of like, you know, messed around for a bit, but then I was always like pumping stuff out. I had a blog, you know, that is actually tractioned a lot of, you know, people. I had like 10,000 views a week on that blog. But
no kidding. What was it about, Ronnie?
It was a culture blog about the Philippines and Manila. So like it was up to date, like, you know, acts and music. And then that's actually how I met a lot of like, you know, like Ron Jossel, like the other podcasts, and Charity Guzman and stuff. That's how I met them, was through that. And I met a lot of people through that. And I realized it was a great networking thing. But also, like, I was posting, the reason I got 10,000 views a week is because I was posting 5 articles a day, which is insane. Yeah. It's an insane amount of work. I only did it for like a few months because like I was just so like
then you were hospitalized.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was like, oh my God, I can't do this.
He's 20 years old and he's been hospitalized for exhaustion.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and then after that I moved to New York and then had to figure something out for work, right? And I was since doing that blog, I learned how to do social media. So I did social media for a medical group for like half a year, which is like the weirdest thing I did.
Wow.
And then that transitioned to marketing, and I started working in marketing and content production until recently. You know?
Yeah. It's so, the world has just changed so much, and it's so cool because, you can drop out of college and then follow your passion, and then the next thing you know, you're in New York City. And I mean, not to say that all of that doesn't take intention and it doesn't take work. It does. It all takes work. But this idea that you go to school for 4 years and then, get a job and work there for 25 years. I mean, I know that's a really antiquated idea. That's not how the world is anymore.
Yeah.
But,
it's so it's such a narrow, it's like one thing, like everyone's going to do one thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so crazy. And the alternative is such a random, it's not figured out. Like, for people who don't choose to go to college, that path is not figured out. Like, there's no real path, the one path or two path. It's really just whatever you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which can be challenging.
I think in America, it's very much like you graduate high school and either you go to college or you're sort of destined for who knows what. Like, you have to go to college if you want to make something of yourself. That's the idea in the culture. But like in Germany, if not that many, only half the population goes to colleges, because a lot of people go to different trade schools that if they already know what they want to do. So they don't end up with all that debt too, all that college debt. So
I've heard about that, which is crazy that, I mean, there's a lot of things that the United States hasn't adopted, but I mean, like, school is just kind of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, don't get me started on schools because, just because, it's like, you watch your kids go to school, somebody chooses the curriculum. So somebody's choosing what to teach, what my children are being taught and how they're being taught. And, this idea that there's one version of history, first of all, is fucking bullshit, and you're telling this history from some book that, I don't know, maybe some guy wrote 25 years ago. I mean, I do feel like, and especially, I don't know, I shouldn't talk more because I don't know, but I do know there's something scary about this idea of curriculum because who's making it up? And I just heard somebody talk about, when we send our kids to school, we shouldn't be teaching them stuff. We should be teaching them how to learn.
Yeah,
right?
I'm so behind that. How to think.
How to think, how to learn. Because so I go and I learn all these dates or these facts or these whatever so I can pass a test so then I can go get a job versus learning how to think critically, learning how to make decisions, learning how to figure out who to listen to and who not to listen to, right? Yeah. Because let's face it, your professors, many times, and even teachers, they have a point of view. And so how they're teaching you, intentionally or not, has maybe an agenda, not even necessarily agenda. It's just simply a point of view that you can end up adopting whether you want to or not. Yeah. All right. Enough about that.
I honestly,
what were you going to say, Ronnie?
I have a teacher that I think a lot of my life to her, just because she was my art teacher in high school. Her name was Miss Palmer, and
Hi, Miss Palmer.
And I still talk to her sometimes. I emailed her a while back.
I love her.
But she taught me. She was very about teaching someone how to think rather than teaching how to do something, especially in art. You know what I mean? I had past art teachers who were like, do this, do this, do this. Well, that's not. I'm not really learning anything. I'm learning how to use a medium. Okay, that's something. But then I think learning how to think and experimenting is a little bit more valuable, Absolutely. And she was very much like, what do you see in something, or how do you see this? How does this work for you? And you know what I mean? It was maneuvering your own perspective, for your own benefit.
Yeah. Yeah. My husband to this day still talks about Mrs. Glubich, I think, who was his art teacher, who gave him a D. And he was like, she didn't think he was artistic, but he showed up and did the work. Do you know what I mean? It's like, how can you fucking give me a D?
Especially if that's an opinion thing.
Exactly. Not everybody likes Picasso. Not everybody likes, Van Gogh.
Oh yeah.
Right? So it's right. It's an opinion thing. Exactly. Like you said, I mean, you can't say, I think 2 + 2 = 3. no, that's just my opinion. Okay, well, you can't say that because...
Yeah. Well, Miss Palmer would give you a bad grade if you didn't try.
Yeah, so if you're trying, then you don't get to say your clouds you have shitty clouds. You drew shitty clouds.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, fucking Mrs. Glovich. And I have to say that art teachers are so powerful because my brother had an art teacher. I had her too, but we didn't connect the way he did with her, Mrs. Meredith. And he wrote about her in his memoir because she gave all the kids this assignment to do a self-portrait and a life-size self-portrait like on butcher paper. And so it was this really great assignment and they got to express themselves. I mean, he's still talking about it, 50 years later. So, yeah. Right? Cool.
Yeah, I do have one more thing I want to say because we're kind of going long, but this is that reminded me of something that Miss Palmer made us do. So we had this project, all of the students in class, we had to make clothing out of duct tape. So I made the Eddie Murphy Delirious.
You did not.
I did.
You made. Oh my God.
The red jumpsuit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And at the end of actually when we finished the project, she was like, "Okay,"
Yeah.
and we had art before lunch, and she was like, "Okay, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put it on and we're gonna go to lunch," and everyone was like, "No, I don't want to do that." And then everyone was like protesting this, and then she got mad. And this is the first time I saw her get mad. And she said, "No, you be proud of what you make. You put effort into this, so you show people this, right?" And after that day, I made sure that everyone knew what I was working on, or everyone knew what I was about, And that I feel like that really helped me out because people came to me for certain things, like video editing, stuff like that. People know to come to me because of that. I mean,
that is huge. That is huge. Yeah. Yeah. It's sort of like that back and forth that I had with Steve where he was like, yeah, my college, like before he talks about his college years, yeah, things didn't really work out for me in college. And then he tells us, and it's like, yeah, you were fucking all-American. So, so how we can minimize it versus owning it. And it's not easy to do that. I have students that they come to me, I work one-on-one with, a writer, and I'll be going, how funny it is. And they go, yeah, but that's just you. And then because I tell the truth, I don't tell somebody.
Actually, it goes back to what you always say about Shakespeare, honestly. It comes right back to that.
It does.
It does.
It does.
Yeah.
Where would we be if Shakespeare had said, maybe I'll just journal? Where would we be if any of the artists, and I don't care whether it's somebody who's fucking designing shoes or drapes or, a leather jumpsuit out of duct tape, if people chose to not create? Think of how, if you look around your room right now, so many things in your room, somebody created them from an artistic point of view. And what if they just said, oh, that's not important. Art's not important.
They just kept it themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We got it all figured out. Our self-help book is coming out next week.
So what are we asking for next week?
Well, I think the thing about what Christina talked about, that show that she didn't end up doing that she thought that she should have done. Even up until the interview with me, the podcast, she was having this regret that she should have done it. Mm-hmm. And I don't think she should have because it wasn't the right fit for her. It didn't feel right. So is there something that you didn't do that maybe you had an opportunity to do or you missed out on and you had all this regret, but then looking back, you're like, not necessarily dodged a bullet, but in retrospect, it was a huge gift that you didn't do it. Does that sound right, Ronnie?
Yeah, I think the way you ended that wrapped it up pretty good. At first, I was like, okay.
See, he's here, keeping me on the straight and narrow. All right, so I think we've done it.
We have.
And be kind to yourself and others. And lastly, but not leastly, don't poop in the ocean.
we keep forgetting this. Actually, sorry. Please email us at losingitcontact@gmail. I keep forgetting. We forgot
every fucking week.
Yeah.
Usually he catches me earlier. You've gotten good.
You've gotten good, and then I just forgot. I just got lazy because you've gotten good at it, and then I think we just fell off.
I've gotten good at it. Okay. Yeah, so hi, guys. So you can contact us at losingitcontact@gmail.com. You can DM us on Instagram at losingitpod. You can comment below on YouTube right there and tell us a Losing It story. And did I forget anything? Oh, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok. Follow us everywhere. And you know what? Please rate and review and subscribe. It makes a big difference. We have some great reviews, but it'd be nice to have a few more. All right? Now are we done?
Yeah.
Did I forget anything?
No, okay. I think we're good.
Now, I beg of you, don't poop in the ocean.
There you go.
Losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it. You came and you listened to the story. I hope so much that it didn't make you sorry, and I hope so much that you'll come back again.
Losing It, hosted by Nelsie Spencer, produced by me, Ronnie Whaley, theme song by Hunter Williams. Follow us online on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and all podcasting platforms at Losing It Podcast. Viewers can email Nelsie with questions or comments about life, writing, comedy, or even your own Losing It story for a chance to be on the Losing It Podcast at losingitcontact@gmail.com. For everything Nelsie and everything Losing It, visit us at nelsiespencer.com.